All right, and good morning. It's BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave here, along with
Double Check Dale on this beautiful Friday morning.
Look at him; he's already excited. But you know what? There's a lot of things I like about Friday, Dale. I'm just going to tell you. It's not that I'm not working tomorrow and that I'm not working through the weekend, but I'm wearing a hat on a Friday. I dig wearing a hat, and on Fridays, I get to wear a hat.
It's casual Friday day.
Casual Friday day. Big Drive Safe's got on a pair of jeans, and he's got on a baseball cap, and he's got on dirty glasses. So I don't know.
That's every day. That's every day.
It's every day going on, but it is an exciting day today. We've got a great guest in house. I'm going to learn a lot today. Mark from Job Behaviors. What?
So excited to talk to him and listen. What a great program he's got going on.
Man, I can't wait to bring him on here in a few minutes and discuss with him. All right, so a couple things. Number one, oh, by the way, I don't want to forget to say good morning to the producer.
Morning.
By the way, producer, I'm not going to let it go. You know I'm not going to let it go. You were a tad bit late this morning. You had me stressed out, right?
Yes, I was. But luckily, though, yesterday I went to the gym before work today.
Okay.
I did.
Sure. Why don't you just have her wake you up? That's all I got.
I did. And no, but luckily after work yesterday, I put everything other than Dale's videos. I prepared them in case that happens. So
okay, good.
We're good.
Running a little bit late. I was stressing a little bit. I called him and it went straight to voicemail.
That's not a good thing.
I was like, oh, yeah, I got this. This is what the producer's going to be doing. Again, producer, let everybody know exactly how old you are. I just want, it's okay.
Yes, I'm 19.
19. Could you see my trepidation that the producer was?
That's right. 19, not answering the phone.
Going straight to voicemail. That's okay. You know what? I was 19 once. And the sergeant major used to beat the crap out of me. So
deservedly so,
yeah,
I'm
exactly. I earned first of all, I am not mad at the sergeant major one bit.
No.
I earned
That's right.
I earned each and every one of those instructions. They were called instructions.
Furthering your education.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to help me be a man. All right, so a couple of things in the news. I will tell you, Caterpillar, you brought this up to me. Tell me about this.
Hey, Caterpillar's moving their global headquarters from Deerfield, Illinois to Irving, Texas. And the move will actually start a little bit later this year. So what another big coup. Another headquarters moving to Irving, which is billing itself as the city of headquarters. So great news there.
They have a huge facility. Do you know where that is? Over there off 183 and Loop 12.
I believe I've been past it, yeah.
Huge facility. I guess that's where they're going. I guess they're going into that big location there.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of it. It just came out as a blurb that they're moving, which is that's just wonderful. I love to see Caterpillar come to town. Anything that has to do with equipment, trucks, stuff like that come to our
big
state.
Machines, earth movers.
Yeah, worldwide earth movers.
Worldwide earth movers. I'll tell you what, they got some cool stuff over there. They actually have, when you go by the facility, they actually have large equipment out front that is pretty cool. And belly, they got scrapers, they got front end loaders, they got some really cool stuff over there to look at. You get kind of in trouble when you're in your 50s and you're pulling over to look at cool equipment. But they do have some cool yellow stuff going on over there, and I've got a feeling that it won't be a slow move. It won't be a Caterpillar moving slow move. I think they'll move rather quickly.
I think they will also. So
coming to Texas. Well, congratulations. We welcome you a lot to Texas. Hey, so I don't think we didn't have a chance to get the video, and we didn't have a lot of pre-morning prep. But
oh, that's right.
I have the video.
No, of what?
The guys are still in the cars?
No. This is this was about a guy that wraps up a thief like a pretzel. So this guy in Chicago goes into a 7-Eleven and steals some stuff from 7-Eleven and bullies the cashier who kind of complained, tell him, hey, what are you doing? don't steal. Oh, you got it. And yeah, but there's a YouTube video.
There's a video?
Yeah, there's a YouTube video. I actually found it. It's pretty cool. So the guy, so this guy walks in and sees this going on. This thief punches the clerk in the face, and this guy who's a 3rd-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu grabs this dude and pins him in like this weird, goofy hold. He looks like, and then the guy, to protect himself, he turns on the video and films himself holding the guy so he's not hurting him. You know, he's just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not injuring the dude, I'm detaining the guy.
Yeah.
He's in no way is he hurt, he just can't move. And the guy is sitting there, he's got his arms wrapped around him like this or something, and he's like, hey dude, let me go. Hey, can you let me go?
I'm not going to rob you anymore. Just let me go.
Come on, dude, let me go. Please let me go. Can you let me go? And the guy's like, nope, not happening. You hit somebody in the face. I'm going to keep you safe and the other guy safe right now, and I'm just going to detain you until the authorities get here. I'm not going to hurt anybody.
Give me 2 minutes off.
You're not under hurt. It's pretty funny because he's got him. This dude's like relaxed. You know, he's like took his flip-flops off. He's not really sitting on. He's sitting by the dude, but he's got him, and it looks like he's just holding on to a finger. I mean, it's like I got this guy all wrapped up, and I got him right here, and I'll just, I'm good. Let me play with the phone. Let me move. Yeah, no, you're good. Let me fist bump some of the customers as they walk in. The guy, I'll tell you what, it's not a good idea to jack with a 3rd-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm going to tell you right now, unless you are a trained individual, this guy, what do you think?
I think it's a riot. The thing that strikes me as funny is the other customers keep walking in, and I'm sure he's ringing them up and everything. Detaining one guy, ringing up other
said
customers.
It took like 12 minutes for the police to get there. What's cool is the police got there. They arrested the guy, not the jiu-jitsu guy. The guy had no injuries whatsoever. He just was detained
and miffed. How did that happen?
How did I get bent up like that? But that's a pretty good story in and of itself. I tell you what he did. He did say in an interview to the guy. He did say, "Look, it's my responsibility as a person to protect other people with my training. That's just what it is." He said, "I'm not trying to be a hero.
Nope.
I just want to make sure nobody gets hurt." He said, I'm not out to hurt anybody. That's not what my training's about. He said, I have an opportunity to keep somebody from getting hurt.
Yep.
And that's it. He said they could have fought each other. They could have been, they could have gotten injured. Somebody could have been really, really hurt. And all I did was keep somebody from getting hurt.
Reached down and tied him in a pretzel.
It had like a finger, like holding him up, like the whole time.
Do you know if this video cusses at all?
Oh, it does? I don't. No, I think the guy's like, help me or let me go. Like, hey, dude, hey, buddy. I think if you got it, we'll see it for just a second, then we got to get going.
Not in a strong bargaining position.
No, so he's got the camera. He pulls the camera out.
Go, man.
Yep.
I'm putting on camera, so if anything
Hey,
happens,
homie, let me
you come
go,
in.
homie.
No, you don't have those zoos
Who?
at the employee.
At where?
You made me move my sandals.
Come on, bro. That wasn't me, dog. Damn.
Through the whole, and for 12 minutes he has him on video. He just records it so that so that he shows that he's not hurting the guy.
You have to nowadays.
Yeah, you have to protect yourself. And the whole time, and the guy's like, "Hey, dude, just let me go. I wasn't the guy." All right, good stuff. Hey, we do like it when people get involved and they make a difference in the world and they help people.
Yeah, like you said, his job is to protect and to protect people. It's much like drivers, our professional drivers out there drive safely to protect the lives of their lives and the lives of others.
I like how you spun that in there. It's good stuff. I like it when you you come in there with a double check Dale with it. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to come back in just about 60 seconds. When we do, we're going to bring back Mark and we will start the interview in just 60 seconds.
Watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. BCB Live covers freight. Here we are now at 21% of record freight being rejected. News down in Texas. We're going to talk a little bit about this. We had another $1.5 million seizure. If ever there's a time to do a pre or post trip, it's if you're doing something wrong. Weather, traffic.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to some traffic and weather with Buckle Up Bob. You can kind of see where the visibility can be compromised a little bit. Again, right where that rain is.
And most importantly, safety. One of the things that we must do is make sure that safety is the number one thing that we focus on.
Going into an intersection yellow is not the way. That's to clear an intersection, not to enter an intersection.
Tune in weekdays from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can watch BCB Live through LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today and follow BCB Live.
This segment has been brought to you by Utility ProWear. Utility ProWear manufactures high-quality, ANSI certified, high-visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility ProWear affords the wearer durable clothing with a great fit to afford the highest degree of safety. Get your high-visibility apparel by going to utilityproware.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount. All right, and we are back with BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave, double check Dale. And we have here in studio, virtually, Mark Tenney with Job Behaviors. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing well, thank you.
You know what? Thank you very much for getting up early this morning. I know it's a little bit earlier in your neck of the woods than it is in ours, but is the sun even up yet?
No.
That's good enough for me, because I'm looking right behind you and I don't see the sun up out of the window. But all right, Mark, you're with Job Behaviors, Inc. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your company?
So Job Behaviors, we specialize in very job-specific assessments that are based on a job analysis with proven top performers in specific job categories. So I've been at this about 30 years or so, and we have a variety of assessments that range from childcare to banking to construction to transportation, among many others, professional sports. And essentially what our mission is to help our clients really consistently and objectively identify top talent in the applicant pool. And it usually starts, all of our assessments start with a very intensive job analysis with proven top performers. So we would contend that if you want to know what makes top performers tick, you ought to sit down and talk with them, and that's what we do. And we then fashion assessments that help our clients go into the candidate pool again and identify candidates that are behaviorally in alignment with proven top performers. So in the transportation industry, we have a fairly major focus, and we have a Class A CDL driver assessment, delivery driver, diesel technician, customer service, freight handler, and operations manager. So we try to cover the breadth of the industry, and that's just kind of the Reader's Digest version, if you will.
Yeah, and you talk about these assessments, and you know I've filled out a personality assessment before. I guess
I would love to read that, by the way.
Did you come out as an extrovert? I'm just curious.
Yes, but no, I came out as shy and bashful and not willing to open up. But no, you have to fill one out in the military. You have to fill one out. They make you fill different ones out. How does yours differ from like a normal personality behavioral assessment?
Oh, that's a good question. So historically, personality profiles have been used for a variety of reasons, and to be very fair, they are extremely accurate in identifying personality type. Where we sort of part ways is that what we find is a real differentiating factor between people who are strong match and high performers in a given job category and those that maybe would have been better suited to another career is not necessarily personality, which is maybe a surprise to some, but it really comes down to behavior. If you sit down with a group of top performers and I've been in rooms with, a top performing group of school custodians, NFL football players, and over the road Class A CDL truck drivers. The first thing you're struck by is just about every personality type under the sun is represented within that group of top performers.
I get it.
So
Yeah, that makes
clearly
sense.
there's something else going on. And what we contend is that it's really the behaviors that they hold in common. So even though you may find that there are a wide variety of personality types there, but they're all there because they're in the top 5% of their field. What you'll hear all the time is, oh, you think that's important. Oh, I do the same thing. So it's they hold the same behaviors important in performing that job, even though they may not have identical personality types. I always give an example in trucking. I know because sometimes they say, well, we've got team drivers, we want them to get along, and so maybe we'll do a personality profile. We would contend again that if you've got two individuals, maybe diametrically opposed personality-wise, but they both are somebody who's going to interact with dispatch professionally, they're going to make sure the load's tied down properly or loaded properly, they're going to be mindful of their fuel, etc. That they're more likely to get the end of that trip in one piece than two guys that may be more likely to sit down and have a beer. We're more concerned about them doing the job in a similar fashion and holding the same things important in doing that job. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And why don't you tell me, why don't we jump right into how it applies to, I know you were talking about our industry, but let's talk about the people that you work with now. What are some of your successes and stories that maybe go along with how this is applied and how it works?
Okay. So number one, usually, and I'm sure you guys are very familiar with this, recruiters in trucking have a tough job, and they're usually given a directive, not always given the tools to complete the mission, shall we say. So
absolutely. It's tough. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
With an assessment like this, typically our clients, the way that it works is we set them up with an account with a link to these assessments. Those can be placed anywhere that they're making contact with the candidate. So it can be emailed to them, it could be embedded into their web postings, etc. We recommend administering this as close to the front of the process as possible. Because every word in the assessment is coming out of a job analysis.
Right.
It's predictive, and you can sort of think of it as the candidate earning the right to take up your time as an organization. So oddly enough, experience in and of itself is not the greatest determiner of success. So you may have someone who is, 5, 6, 10 years, who may be technically competent, but isn't necessarily bringing those other behaviors for customer service, fuel mileage, etc. So in a counterintuitive sense, we can actually open up the candidate pool to folks that may be on the bubble experience-wise, or maybe they had worked one too many jobs. I always say, well, maybe they work for maybe not the greatest carrier. So should we just dismiss that person in a
agree 100%
driver shortage environment?
Yeah.
And also, we want to put the objective predictive cart before the subjective and less predictive horse, so to speak, right? So we want to have something that's objective, laser focused on the job, that's predictive as a first step. Takes about 10 minutes to complete for the candidate. Results are instant, so they come right back. And we have hundreds of thousands, close to 500,000 in our database. The way the scores come back is it's a T distribution, and we translate that into a straightforward 1 through 5 star. So 1 and 2 stars represent the bottom 50th percentile of the candidate pool. 3, 4s, and 5s represent the top 50th percentile. The goal over time is to get as much of your driver force as you have natural attrition moved into that top 50th percentile. And when you do that, some of the just most recent feedback we've gotten from clients that have used this for since about 2018 was one, and then a little bit further back with another. But what they're reporting, even in a difficult environment, that they're growing 18% a year. They've had 2 consecutive years of the best record for safety cost as a percentage of revenue. Their turnover's been cut in half. And I don't want to just pass over that. That's, as you know, depending on who you talk to, they might tell you it's 10,000 or as high as $20,000 to replace a driver. So
It is.
if you've got 100 drivers or 1,000 drivers or 10,000, and you can cut turnover by 50%, there's real dollars associated with that we would say makes you even more competitive to be an employer of choice. You can take some of those savings and either kick it back into signing bonuses, or maybe look and say, well, we're going to do 3 or 4 or 5% higher pay than our competitors, but we're going to stand back, assess, and screening candidates that are worthy of that increase in pay or benefits or whatever you're offering.
So Mark, and just as you're talking about it, you're basically talking about it, and go a little bit more, but you're talking about making money at the point of hiring somebody, or making more profit just when you walk out and you hire somebody, because you've already, it's not just a resume anymore, right? You got almost a data analysis that you can go by, correct?
Exactly. We would call it behavioral analysis. You're exactly right. And in fact, there's probably no other industry with more at risk on so many levels at the point of hire. You guys probably know that as well as anybody.
Yep.
Safety is a big part of it. The bedrock of our approach, oddly enough, is not just turnover. Top performers in any job category are not just more productive, they're magnitudes more productive than their below average counterparts. So this is really about identifying people that will perform at a high level, and then it's just sort of a nice consequence of doing a better job of hiring that you see turnover rates tend to come down fairly dramatically.
Hey, Mark.
Of course, yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I'm sorry. So does your assessment equate to safety? I mean, how does safety play into that through your assessment?
So safety permeates the assessment, but it's not because we put it in there. In other words, when you sit down with a group of top performers and you do a job analysis, and again, we'll generate close to 500 behaviors that make up a job, and Class A CDL driver was no exception. Safety is just the way those drivers think. And
Wow.
I'll just give you an example, and these are just some random behaviors that actually were rated in the top 10% of those 500 behaviors. But and again, this is not me speaking. This is coming out of the mouths of drivers, and this is the way top drivers think about their job. Acts as an effective representative for the employer. Maintains self-control in difficult situations. Stays patient at all times. Comes to work well rested. Works well under pressure. Maintains focus and attention even in good driving conditions. Stays focused on driving at all times. Looks ahead and anticipates problems and hazards. Stays self-motivated. Takes responsibility for tractor trailer cargo. I won't go on, but you get the idea. It's
You're hired. Are you checking all these boxes because you're hired? If you are, thank you. You can go ahead and send that right on in.
Wow. Yeah, that's. I mean, when he talks about that, the words that they're using, it's just words we talk about safety. The focus and the attention to detail, the big picture. Just great stuff. Wow.
Yeah, and as it applies to safety, that's what we're about here. We're about safety, and when you're talking about the top performers, I guess you said it in a nutshell. You can't get away. It's there. It's embedded in what they do. It's embedded in how they work, and it's fantastic is how they do that. So how are the companies, how are your relationship with the companies or the carriers, or not only the carriers, but any job industry, how are they coming to you to get that information?
Well, they visit our website, jobbehaviors.com with 1B, and they can just contact us and get the information. And essentially, we can then, usually within 24 hours, get somebody set up. It's not like a sometimes people go through a computer conversion or something, and it's nothing like that. We can literally, once someone is set up, literally within 10 minutes, as long as they can get that link in front of a candidate, they're off to the races.
As you mentioned that, and as we talk about it, what you're talking about is not necessarily the driver itself, but their behaviors, whether or not they've been at this 6 months, or whether they've been at this 5 years, or whether they've been at this 20 years. You're talking about behaviors, and the reason I like this, let's talk about women coming into the industry who may have had some apprehension of whether or not they fit in. How is this developed for women in the industry? How does this work for them? Or how give me some feed on this, on women coming in taking your assessment.
Okay, this is an interesting area. First of all, it just comes down to information. I mean, as you know, not everybody has an in-depth knowledge of the industry. So anybody who completes this assessment, it's almost like they're sitting down with a group of 10 top drivers and having a conversation. So when they complete it, they're actually going to have a much deeper understanding of what the job is about, regardless of their score.
Wow.
So recently, I think you had Dave Dine on recently, but just as an example, he's running, I think one of the most interesting projects out there. We're looking at high school folks.
Incredible application in alternative ways to introduce the industry to young people out there in California. Fantastic individual, and you know what? More than that, I'm talking about motivated and excited to do it. Incredible individual. But yeah, go ahead. I don't want to mean to deter from that.
No, he's a great guy, and we're really proud to be working with him. He did something real interesting, which is he said, well, just like you said, well, behavior, does that maybe, is that something that we can start to look at even at as they're starting to look at career opportunities? And so he ended up assessing or administering the assessment. Again, these are young people, but he assessed his entire 11th grade class for enrollment into his class the following year as a senior. Well, he called me afterwards, and he was just as excited as could be because he had a 400% increase in enrollment of young women. And
wow.
So we took note of that, and I don't have any deep insight, except I do believe that maybe there are two things. One, just the information so they could see what the job is about. And secondly, as a young person, when you're able to have some confirmation that a path is opening up for you, and you've got some confirmation that this may be something that you could have some success at, I think that just helps with the motivation, and it seemed to be something that was real meaningful to those young women, and he's since said that some of those young women have actually been at the top of his class. So that's something, gosh, it seems like in a driver shortage, there's an opportunity there.
So tell me, I know you got some big news with Wisconsin. Tell me what's going on.
Well, so we've just, there's a gentleman there, Mike Rominsky, who we've worked with in the past in the industry. Well, he's since moved on working with Wisconsin Department of Workforce Services. And he had used us.
That's big.
In the past to either both hire experienced and non-experienced going into to driver training programs. And that's something that increasingly we're getting more and more interest in carriers that are developing their own talent. The state of Wisconsin is heavily involved in that, and so we've just been we've been brought on to assess candidates that will go through state-funded training. And again, we've had a lot of experience with that. We've worked with the state of Arkansas in the past and other states, and the outcomes are pretty remarkable. I mean, we've had situations where these are new people to the industry that with 75% retention after 3 years.
Wow.
And it's a small fraction of that in the past. So anyway, we're excited to be working with the state of Wisconsin on this, and we think it has an opportunity to go much wider.
So, and I'm just going to ask you real quick before, where are you headed with this? Because it sounds like you're on the state level. You ready to go national? Is that what you're telling me? Where are we headed?
Well, we work with carriers all over the country. In fact, we work with clients around the world. But yeah, I think there's a model. I think Wisconsin is probably one of the more forward-looking workforce sites. In fact, it's not only just for long-term Wisconsin residents, but they have a fairly large refugee population, and they're excited to utilize this to help direct. There's limited resources, so if someone's not a good match, then we can say, well, maybe you might want to try the construction industry or some other industry before we invest a lot of money, because obviously there's a lot of resources that it takes to get somebody to full productivity as a driver. So anyway, they're looking at both assessing refugees as well as long-term Wisconsin residents.
So for the carrier right now, and we have a few more minutes, but for the carrier, this is an opportunity. These assessments and this pool of yours, of a large pool of yours, offers a building genuine talent and long-term sustainability of who you're going after, right? I mean, that's really what we're talking about here. We're talking about not going out and just waiting until they step on your doorstep, but actually going and already pre-interviewed. So kind of tell me how a carrier can change the way it thinks really quickly on and going forward in how it hires.
Well, I think if you really want to make a change, you got to take a look at what you're doing and is it working. If you're happy with it, fine. If not, we would contend that if you really want to take this on and you really want to have some results, go to the people who do the job, do it well, do the analysis, which we've done. And now the goal is to get as many of your current drivers. If you have 100 drivers, let's just use a base of 100 drivers.
Okay.
You probably have 50 that are pretty darn good. You probably have another 50 that are cycling through and with all of the issues, either the job's not right for them or there's safety issues, et cetera. The goal going forward is to replicate the behavioral approach of your top 50th percentile. If you have in your mind's eye let's say your top 10 drivers, what you want to do as you go forward is have an assessment up front, keep it objective, keep it predictive, keep it consistent, and identify individuals. And by the way, with assessments like this, you may have individuals who are not the best at interviewing. They may not have the most experience, et cetera. So we're going to uncover some hidden opportunities here, and we're not going to simply pass over people because we sort of have our personal biases. And so at the end of the day, we want to help all of our clients move their entire workforce, their entire driver force into that upper 50th percentile, those that are as good as their current best. And that's certainly possible. There are millions of drivers out there. If you've got 100 drivers, if you've got 1,000, you need 1,000 of the best, or you need 100 of the best. A little more attention at the front end can just pay off huge dividends.
I really like the idea, and when you were talking about it, that the personalities may be as diverse as the people that are in the room, but they all are in the top 5% of who you want to drive. I really never really looked at it like that. I never thought of it like that, it's not one personality that supersedes another in a skill level like this. It's really in the behavior. And I find that interesting, fascinating, and I think it's wonderful that you're looking at it like that. And I'll tell you what, if you want to, you can reach out to Mark Tenney at Job Behaviors, right? Is it jobbehaviors.com?
That's correct, with one B.
One B, J-O-B-E, right? Job Behaviors, all just one B, jobbehaviors.com. Mark, is that the best way to reach you from the website?
Yeah, that's the best. And we also have 253-857-5687 is a direct line.
All right, nice, fantastic. All right, Mark, we ask every one of our guests before they leave, before they get out of here, we ask that they state their name, who they're with, and that you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Can you do that for us?
I'll do my best. This is Mark Tenney with Job Behaviors, and you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
There you go. Thanks, Mark. We appreciate it. Hey, man, great stuff. We're going to have you back on soon at some point here in the near future to talk a little bit more about some of this going on. We do appreciate you. Have a great day.
I appreciate it. And the sun is coming up now, so thank you.
Yeah, we got you up for that. Go get a cup of coffee.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye now. Man, Mark, great stuff. Neat stuff.
Yeah, I mean, really talk about core values and matching the core values instead of the personalities with the company. What a great concept. What a great job.
Yeah, and continuing to have some great success with it. Look, the states are coming to him to find out where to put their money. Yeah. I think that's pretty neat.
Spending it wisely.
Yeah.
Or wiser.
And when did we in government spend money wisely?
Well, that's an oxymoron.
There's
right
a forward-thinking moment. All right, when we come back, Double Check Dale's going to jump straight into the weather and talk a little bit, and then we're going to come back and talk a little bit about safety. We'll be back in just a second. We'll be back, and this was brought to you by... This segment has been brought to you by Utility ProWare. Utility Pro Wear manufactures high-quality, ANSI-certified, high-visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility Pro Wear affords the wearer durable clothing with a great fit to afford the highest degree of safety. Get your high-visibility apparel by going to utilityprowear.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount.
Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation on this beautiful, hot Friday morning. Hey, we're going to start out with the temperatures. You know, right now, Dallas is already 85, Oak City 80, Jacksonville, Florida in the 80s already. And as we go throughout the day, it gets hot, folks. You know, we are looking at a large swath of 100-degree temperatures going up through the central United States. Dallas 103, Oak City 100. You know, you're going to see Mitchell, South Dakota 96. Along the Gulf Coast, lots of high 90s. Phoenix and Vegas, triple digits also. So very hot day in store for us today. As we go to tomorrow afternoon, guess what? We're going to see more of the same tomorrow. It doesn't reach quite as far north, but it starts to shift a little bit further out to the east, that heat band. And so again, a couple of hot days. We go over into Sunday, more of the same, folks. Although it does cool off a little bit up in the upper Midwest and stuff, but the southern states, southern tier of states, the Gulf Coast states, and the Atlantic Coast states are still going to be very, very hot. So we have, you know, 3 days of extremely warm temperatures coming up. If we take a look at wind gusts, there is not a lot going on today as far as the winds go. You know, rather a nice day. They start to build a little bit up in Wyoming. We almost always see that up there. Panhandles of Texas get a little bit stronger this afternoon, but I don't believe we see anything, you know, that's real concerning or out of the ordinary. Just have to be aware of your situation. As we go to tomorrow afternoon, we do see some winds stronger winds developing up in the Dakotas, starting to shift south into Nebraska, into Kansas, and Colorado. So tomorrow afternoon is a little bit different story as far as the winds go. A little bit stronger tomorrow than they are today. When we look at precipitation, you know, currently a pretty strong storm system up in central Iowa, north Missouri. Potential for some very strong winds, some local flash flooding up there, some possibly tornadoes. And then everywhere else, you know, if we go out west a little bit, some pop-up showers and scattered showers there. As we go into this afternoon, early evening, you know, the showers really start to expand. A lot of it is out, you know, New Mexico still picking up some precipitation. Colorado, the Dakotas, Nebraska seeing some. And then again down in Florida and Georgia, going to see some showers this evening, this afternoon and this evening. Go a little bit later into the night, some very strong storms developing up in the upper Midwest, Nebraska and Iowa, South Dakota, northern Minnesota. So if you're in that Omaha area tonight in the overnight hours around midnight or so, be prepared for some very strong storms there. We're looking at tomorrow morning, and those storms in the upper Midwest persist. And tomorrow morning, mid-morning, you're going to see some pretty strong storms down in Alabama and Georgia and northern Florida. But overall, heat is still the topic. The major weather maker right now is still heat. So again, make sure you have plenty of water. Make sure if you have pets, you're taking care of them. Don't overexert yourself. Know the signs of heat stroke, of heat stress, and know what to do if you see them. If you're not feeling good, take that break. If you're a little dizzy, you know, just lay down, wait it out. Don't get in a hurry because you know, your body just needs a little bit time to recover from it. So be aware of those signs. If you see of them or experience any of them, take care of yourself out there. Do the safest thing. And with that, we'll come back and talk some safety.
This segment has been brought to you by Utility Pro Wear. Utility Pro Wear manufactures high-quality, ANSI-certified, high-visibility apparel for both men and women. Infused with the Teflon fabric protector, Utility Pro Wear gives you the added benefit of providing a barrier to liquids, dirt, and grime, keeping you cleaner longer, brighter longer, and therefore safer longer. Get your high-visibility apparel by going to utilityprowear.com. Use the code BCB20 at checkout for an exclusive discount. All right, and we are back. Drive Safe Dave here, along with Double Check Dale flipping pages, making sure he's online and got the topic on hand. What's going on over there? Dude, seriously, you're going to lay that out like that? I mean, what is it, a front to back issue, or is it double page issue? What do you got going on?
It's just, we were talking about distracted driving, and there are so many different facets of distracted driving. And today I'm going to go David Letterman on you. I'm going to do the top 10 distractions.
Are you going to start with 10? Because he starts with 10.
Okay, I'll start with 10.
Because, you know what I mean?
I'll go backwards up through it.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go the least, and then the number 1, and then we'll go like that. How's that?
Okay, smoking's the least. In the top 10, smoking's the least. Moving objects, and so
Number 9, moving objects. Number 8.
Using vehicle function as a cruise control.
Number 7.
Adjusting the radio or AC.
Number 6.
Eating or drinking.
One of my favorites. Number 5.
Non-alcoholic beverages. Using devices other than cell phone.
What? No, wait a minute. Number 4.
4. Looking someone else in the car has a distraction.
That's a big one for me.
Yep.
Number 3.
Looking outside the vehicle. There's mine.
Number 2.
Cell phone.
And the number 1 distraction.
Lost in thought.
Is it really?
Yeah, and you see that a lot. I mean, when you start driving 500-600 miles and you're going across a state like Nevada, Nebraska, wide open spaces, really, what else is there to do? You get lost in thought. All of a sudden, you start thinking about something, daydreaming, and stuff like that.
And I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't even have to be 500 miles. It can be this 10 minutes from my house here in the bright early in the morning when I've not had enough coffee yet, and you know what I mean. Yep. I'm not quite awake, and I'm thinking about what's going on.
Start planning your day, or
start trying to put on what we're doing on the show today in my brain, and yeah, not paying attention to what's going on, and then realize, and don't tell Sir Rick because he's not here today, but I'm just gonna say, and realize you made it all the way to the freeway and you didn't have your seatbelt on.
Yeah. I'm not commenting on that.
I'm like, well, I had jumped out and moved the trash can and got back in the...
Okay, so the little chime that's chiming at you, dinging at you that says, hey, buckle up.
I didn't hear it. I don't know if it was out. I don't know. I didn't hear it. So I come around and start to get on the freeway and I'm like, this doesn't feel right. And I realized, I know I got a little too much free movement action going on in the seat. Didn't feel right, and I went ahead. I slipped it on. I was like, I looked around to make sure.
Is Sir Rick around anywhere?
or anybody seeing Drive Safe Dave that didn't have a seatbelt on, who is a big advocate of the seatbelt, 100%.
As you should be. I mean, seatbelt saves lives, and they're the law.
But you know what? That's funny that's the number 1 that you just drift away. You lose focus.
Yeah. And it happens, folks. It happens. I mean, like
it's number 1. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and let's go straight to. Can we go to videos?
We can look at some videos.
Let's look at some videos.
First video we got is called "Build the Space Till It's Taken."
You know, driver here, it starts out a little too close, but they're building the space.
Oh, I like it. There's an improvement.
They're starting to see the improvement and everything, but then you get it taken away right here. But you know, if we follow this video out a little bit more, that driver goes ahead and starts recreating that space, rebuilding it right away.
I like it.
How do we do that? We go a couple miles slower than the prevailing traffic.
Oh, I like it. Good stuff. Anyway, that's a good video.
Kudos. Good video.
Kudos. Thanks for sending that one in.
Next video we got is called Merge Point, Cut Speed, Build the Space.
Yep, and so again, that's what we're talking about. Following a little too close, we have a merge point. There's so much going on here. We see construction zone signs, and so we have to build that space. Driver does a nice job recognizing some of the things that's happening and starts to back off and slows down a little bit, giving that space. You know, got a couple vehicles merging that decide that, hey, I got to do it.
I'm not going to slow down and merge in behind anybody. I'm going to go out there on the shoulder. Yeah, and cut in front of all these people because I can't be 5 seconds back.
Yeah, that's right. Like, I'm going to gain a whole lot by doing that versus falling in line legally.
Wow, crazy stuff here. Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one.
Next one is called Whoa Up.
You know, when we say whoa up, it's just we're way too close. We're about half second away from here. You're not getting to one on this. And we close the space. That's probably the most disconcerting thing about this one is, one, we're too close, but the space actually gets closer. You know, we've said it time and time again, we're not going to make that vehicle go any faster.
No, I think really what's happened here maybe a little bit is either the driver's lost a little maybe focus,
Maybe.
like you're talking about, maybe, and just moved up into this dangerous situation. And as we see at 70, 71, I think right when we get up here, all of a sudden the driver realizes how close and hits the 68.
Yeah.
And starts to back off. But you know what? It is important that you recognize these, right? You're going to find yourself in these moments.
Yeah. I mean, they could have found himself in this because that vehicle pulled out to pass and then slows down and you didn't take it off cruise soon enough because, like I said, you've lost a little focus or whatever. But you just got to recognize and then take those steps to get out of that dangerous situation.
Absolutely.
Next video we got's called Too Close, Limited Outs.
You know, and so when we look at following too close, we always look at our dangers associated with it. And one of the dangers associated with following too close is where are your outs? What other outs do you have? Because as we see, if you're going to use that right-hand lane, it's taken away. You got a vehicle alongside of you. You no longer have the space in front of you because that's not an adequate following distance. So again, it's about recognizing what your what situation you're in and taking those corrective actions to get out of that unsafe situation.
What is the most dangerous crash or most deadly crash that big trucks have?
Rear end.
Rear end collisions.
Rear
That's
end-
the
rear end
most,
collisions.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason we say that, bring that up, and the reason we're talking about the space and controlling the space, if that's the worst thing that happens, and you fix all of those, you're 100%. I mean, you've improved. Now you start working on the next things, but if you fix all of the rear end collisions by if you create enough space, you're going to limit your rear end collisions and your fatalities dramatically. Correct?
Yep, absolutely. And Dave, when I first started here, one of the first things I heard you say and always stuck with me is own that space in front of you.
Absolutely.
Own the
It's
space.
yours.
Yeah, you got to own it.
You got to own that space in front of you. That's your responsibility, that area between you and it's not that truck's in the front of you space.
No.
That's your space. And you've got to find a way to create the space necessary to be successful, because if you don't, you won't be.
Yeah, you know, the first video showed that, you know, had the space, created the space, got it taken away, and again, went right back to building that space, owning that space in front of them.
100%. Let's go to the next one.
This video is called Just Too Close.
You know, and again, this may be the same one or similar to the one we looked at earlier. We're just too close, and whether it's, you know, because we're daydreaming or we're just in a hurry to get someplace, we have to take that out of there. We're not gaining the time we think, you know, drivers aren't gaining the time they think they are by following this close, by getting in a hurry.
Well, I'll tell you what I do like from this video, and I'll tell you what this tanker on the right
Yes.
is a good distance from the truck in front of him.
Great following distance there.
Great
So-
following distance
Yep.
between these two vehicles right here. This truck driver on the right is absolutely doing the right thing, and maintaining a good distance between the vehicle in front of him. And you notice nobody's trying to get in between them.
No.
And I tell you, you're not going much faster than that truck right there. There's a lot to learn from what's happening there in the right lane than what's happening here in the left lane. I understand passing, but let's pass at a safe distance, good distance, and a correct distance. You know, nobody's going to get up there. Nobody's going to get in the way. There's a great opportunity here to allow that traffic don't be in the wolf pack, because that's what I call this, the wolf pack. When they're out there in the hammer lane, packed together, trying to pass, trying to get going, they get clunged up together, you know, and then one moves over, the other one, and then you got the pack, and they start fading away. I just call it the pack. And you don't
The
want
wolf pack.
Huh?
The wolf pack.
The wolf pack. You got to get out of the wolf pack, man. Be that lone guy.
Be the lone wolf. Get out of that
lone
pack.
wolf. Be right here. See this guy on the right? Doing the right thing.
He's the lone wolf out there.
He's the lone wolf doing it right.
We got one last video today. Dave's favorite, a rolling stop.
You know, dark of the night, nobody's around, and that's what you'll hear the driver say. Well, you know, I know that intersection. There's nobody around. It's dark. I didn't see any headlights. There are other obstacles out there.
Come on!
You got to stop.
You got to stop. What do you save? Tell me how much time you really saved. Tell me. I mean, I want to know. Nobody's around. How much time did you save?
Maybe 5 seconds. Maybe.
If.
I said maybe. If, maybe. Not much. Let's go with not much. You didn't save enough time to justify breaking the law.
No, you did not. No, you did not. Maybe 3 seconds. Seriously, you broke the law to save 3 seconds. Come on, guys. And the reason we show these, I appreciate everybody sending these in. The reason we show these is we want to recognize and identify you didn't stop. And you know what?
He may not even be aware of it. The driver, or she may not even been aware of it because it's a habit. And when you have those type of habits, you don't recognize that.
Right, exactly.
I just rolled through that sign.
Well, I stopped.
Yeah.
You'll hear that, right? Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, I've heard that.
I stopped. What are you talking about? I always stop. Okay, you watch the video.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that must be someone else.
And then it clicks. You know,
Yeah,
and then
so-
it
well, it is my
have you ever
job.
heard? Do you ever hear it in the tone? It clicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it clicks. All right, let's see that one video we got left.
We got one more video. It's a little bit longer video this morning.
It's kind of a good setup video. I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
And so, I mean, you look at all the things that the driver's doing right. Well, the things that we talk about, big picture,
Yep.
following distance,
Yep.
speed and space control and everything.
Yep.
It's situational awareness. And so as the video goes on a little bit longer, and I'm going to kind of tip it a little bit.
No,
the
wait.
the driver's seeing what's happening. There's a vehicle up ahead hauling some pallets. The car that's moving over recognizes, as the driver of this one did also, that, hey, one of those tarp straps, the tie downs may have just come loose. And so you'll see the driver back off a little bit here because the driver's thinking, if that strap comes loose and this truck hits a bump or something, we're going to see a load shift. And right about now, we should see, yeah, because that vehicle just moved over, and here comes some of the pallets.
Cargo loss.
Cargo loss. Situational awareness, folks. Big picture, looking at what's going around. And look at the speed and space allowed for him to come, controlled stop, not have to run over any of the debris.
Fantastic job.
Yeah, just, I mean, so many things in this video. I mean, this is like a teaching video right here of all the things that the drivers are doing right and recognizing and paying attention.
Let me tell you that the minute this cargo drops, the speed in the vehicle, the speed in the truck has dropped dramatically.
Yep.
I mean, the minute it hits the ground. And I'm telling you this because this space, this big picture, this defensive driving, this afforded the driver the opportunity to not just run over debris in the road, create a dangerous environment. Now all of a sudden you're kicking pallets around in the road with a big truck and it hits cars. People go crazy, and you see people run over them and then hit their brakes. They lose control because they're locked up on the pallet.
Flat tires or anything happens at that point.
There's so much that can happen here, and I'll tell you what, kudos to the driver. Thanks for sending this in, showing exactly how important it is that you stay focused at all times and positioning yourself to be in a great way to be successful. This driver did everything right, placed himself in a good position to not run over the debris in the road, could see everything that unfolded.
Yep, and like I said, noticing the strap came loose, and at that point, that's a tip off. Hey, that strap's loose. If that's loose, when he hits a bump, bad things are going to happen. And so, just that situational awareness, that big picture, just a great job here.
Yeah, and load securement is another big thing. I don't even want to get into load securement, but as these situations unfold, if you've placed yourself in a defensive posture, and you're driving defensively, and you've got a big picture, you've got a space, you're going to be successful like this.
Yep.
And it can happen anytime, anywhere, at any time. People can slam on the brakes, run over debris, have problems, accidents occur. I think a lot is avoided when professional drivers do things like this and show us exactly how it's done.
Yeah. I mean, because and we think back and we talk about, putting yourself in unsafe situations. So if you're one of those vehicles earlier that are a half second behind, and all of a sudden that strap comes loose and those pallets come off, and you're a half second behind, they're taking your grill out, they're hitting your truck, they're hitting your vehicle. You have no place to go at that point. You don't even have time to react. And so just a great lesson to be learned there.
Yeah, fantastic stuff, man. I do appreciate. Hey, thanks for sending that video in. That is an awesome video in regards on what to do and how to do it and to do it correctly. Fantastic stuff. Kudos to that driver. Kudos to those that help train that driver, and experience there tells it all. Doing it safely. All right, with that, let's go ahead. Dear Heavenly Father, we gather before you today to ask for your grace in all things. We ask that you keep us safe and that you protect us from the dangers in the world. Father, also help us to be better for ourselves and those around us each and every day. Help us to be kind, considerate, and to live also our lives for the service of others. We ask all these things in your name, we pray. Amen. All right, everybody, have a great and wonderful day, and we ask that you have a good weekend. We'll see y'all on Monday on BCB Live.
The safest station in the nation.
It's like clockwork.